This video is only for people on the brink of making great content. They've got great ideas and they're ready to start making video content. So if that's not you, please X out and just keep scrolling. If you feel like you have good enough ideas to blow up, whether it's on YouTube or TikTok, then keep watching, because I'm gonna cover the main obstacles that you're gonna run into as you start this journey. And then I'm gonna give you 6 mental anchors that will help you overcome some of the obstacles that you're gonna run into. So when I started creating content, it was for client tutorial videos, it was for onboarding videos, none of it was public. And so that kind of helped me get used to working with the camera. But even when I started, I would get 10 seconds in or 15 seconds in, I would mess up and then just completely scratch that and start over. As soon as I thought that I had something that was good, I would watch it back and cringe. It wasn't that what I had to say wasn't valuable, because I thought that I finally got that piece taken care of. It was just that I hadn't built a relationship with the camera yet. And getting comfortable with the camera took a lot longer than I thought it was gonna take. It was a huge commitment. And if I didn't actually have a roommate at the time who was a filmmaker and literally was recording everything from me waking up to walking through the house and coming into the doors, and like, I would have never got used to it. So with that said, it might help to share with you some of the obstacles you're gonna run into if you are trying to put yourself on camera. Number 1, you're not gonna be able to do this comfortably and post to your current audience of friends and family and coworkers and exes and people from high school. But that's not a big problem. You can start a new social account with a new email and you'll thank me later. And in this sense, it's important to just start, because you need to start getting comfortable with the camera, going through the entire process of posting content from start to finish. And once you get to that point and things start blowing up, then you can invite your friends to come check out your channel if you want. So it doesn't matter how goofy you think you are, or introverted or shy, none of that matters, because your people that you're trying to reach are like you, and so they're going to relate with you anyways. So there's no point in trying to posture or be something that you're not. My mom always said, if you can't fix it, feature it. Therefore, owning who you are and accepting it is paramount to this process. Number 2, you're going to grow and you're going to change over time. It's going to be painful, but that's okay. Most people quit their video content production because they feel like they can't keep up a certain persona or be consistent with a certain attitude or vibe. Now, if you look at my past videos, some days I look like a thug, some days I'm ornery, sometimes I'm ranting, sometimes I'm pumped up on caffeine, other days I'm just half asleep, and that's okay. So with that said, let's jump in. Here's the 6 things that will get you camera ready in no time. Tip number 1, look at the little black dot. Look at the camera lens. It's gonna feel uncomfortable as heck. Like when I first started doing this, I was used to coming from Snapchat or whatever, where you're just sitting there looking at the screen, you're looking at your face. That's not gonna work. You gotta look at the black dot, and you're gonna wanna look away. You're gonna wanna look over here, you're gonna wanna look over here. And it's okay to look away sometimes, but when I first started doing this, I was looking away way too much. I bet if you've started recording content, you've probably noticed that you look away from that black dot. It's really hard to keep your eyes just glued to the black dot. But if you do, the end result is gonna be way better. Tip number 2, anchor your mentality to bestie talks. Okay, so content should be fun. You should be chilling, having a good time, right? So I try to think of some of the nights that I've been hanging out with my best friends and we're laughing uncontrollably, having just a wonderful time, talking about things that we enjoy talking about. The vibe is good, right? So what I would do in that situation is maybe play a song or have a certain drink on standby. That way I could remember and set an anchor of how I felt and the vibe that was going on, because that's kind of the energy that you want to bring to your content and to your videos if you're trying to be authentic. Anchor number 3, talk to yourself a year ago. Speak to the version of yourself that you wish you had a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, right? What's the things that you wish that you had known, but now you know now? Okay, this can be very therapeutic. 1, because you're offering value that you know is valuable, so it's gonna feel good to contribute. But 2, there's some healing in this process. You're essentially going back in time and being there for yourself in a way that you needed, but no one else was there, right? And when you do that, you'll notice something magical change with who you are. Tip number 4 is care a lot, and a lot more than you think, actually, because A lot of people, when they start, they don't want to give out too much information or offer too much value. Sometimes they don't want to tell that vulnerable story, right? And the opposite is just not good, right? So if you're going to err on giving too much value or not giving enough value, always err on giving more value and telling more truth and sharing more about yourself. Even if you have to go into long stories, you can always edit those out if they don't fit later. And you just want to make sure you're coming from a place of like genuinely wanting to help people. Tip number 5, or anchor number 5, is practice way more than you think. When I was first starting, I would have a rule of 3, which was that I would record a piece of content 3 times, no matter what. Not more, not less. And the first time was just to kind of get my mind used to the content. The second time that I recorded it, I noticed I was getting more used to the flow of things. And then by the third time, I was so used to it, it just came off and seemed effortlessly after my edits. So if you're struggling with this, set the rule of 3, stick with it, and actually go all the way to the editing process and the posting process so that you can just get used to what that actually feels like. There's magic in that. And lastly, tip number 6 is hit the record button, not the stop button. Literally, I tell my clients when they're making videos for me, new people that I'm bringing on, new personal brands, right? Hit the record button and do the intro 3 times, right? So as soon as you're done doing the intro, don't hit the stop button, then go into the next part of your video and say that 3 times. Maybe you'll tell one story here, then you'll repeat it, but you'll tell a different side of the story, and then you'll repeat it and you'll tell maybe a slightly different story, or you'll have different emotions with it. And then just keep letting it run. Let the camera record and record and record so that you're capturing as much content as possible. It's much easier to come back later and crop and edit and take out the best stories and take out the most emotionally moving parts for your video. So here's the big idea. Most people will find the perfect answer to the wrong question. It's one of my favorite quotes. And the question isn't whether or not you're cut out for creating content. You are. The question is are you really up for the journey? Because I think, if you knew what you were going to be up against and what you're going to face and how difficult it would be and how just sometimes vulnerable and painful it would be, just knowing that's like half the battle, and then you would be more encouraged to do it versus thinking that no one else has gone through this because all their content's polished and showing up nice. I would like to encourage you to do this because the benefit is that you're going to gain more confidence. Your speaking skills are going to get better in public, with friends, out and about. You're going to have a transformation happen, and that's what's going to keep you wanting to create content, not views or money or affiliate links or any of that stuff. You're going to find a little piece inside you that you enjoy doing this because you're seeing personal growth. So I will leave this with you. If you want to get good at camera skills, stop and focus on just building better human connections. If you want to get good at entertaining people, stop and just focus on building better human connections, right? If you want to learn how to talk better and be more confident, stop and just focus on having a better connection with people. Everything else will fall into place, I promise. With that said, I want to challenge you to create 40 pieces of content. Even if you don't post them publicly, I at least want you to start and get through the editing process so that you get the full feel of what it's going to look like going from start to finish, because it's all a creative process and that's a really good habit to build. I promise you, at the end of these videos that you do, even after the first 10 or 12, I swear, you're going to be like, whoa, I get it. I see it. That was very difficult, but I'm going to keep going. So set a goal for 40, okay? At least 40, just so you can get comfortable from start to finish. And then it's going to help your brain think about everything interlatticed and how it all comes together and works in the end. If you do these things, you won't have to worry about keeping up a certain persona or a certain attitude. That's not going to happen anyways. Those people, obviously, maybe they had success, they got views, they got follows, they were monetized, right? There's people out there that are miserable behind the camera and they've got huge channels. I don't want that to be you. I want you to have fun with this. I want you to be authentic, and I want you to grow and be able to meet yourself again for the first time, like the world sees you, right? So If you've done this or if you've had this experience, let me know in the comments. I'm curious to see how many people have gone through this or tried this, and maybe like where you got stuck. Share that because it's going to be encouraging for people to check those comments out. Anyways, if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Somewhere on the screen here is some other content that I think you would like, so check it out. Till next time, I'm out. Cheers.